Constituent Assembly means a convention or an assembly set up by the people of a country for the purpose of framing a constitution. The origin and growth of the idea of a constituent assembly in the sense of a representative body called for the purpose of formulating the fundamental law of the country had a revolutionary history in West. After the American War of Independence, the Americans were the first to have a federal convention in 1787 to frame their own constitution, which is also known as the Philadelphia Convention. Later, the idea of federal convention was then imitated by France. The French people call it as National Constituent Assembly. Subsequently, all the democratic states followed the practice of establishing a constituent assembly to frame their constitution. The Constituent Assembly of India took 2 years, 11 months and 18 days to frame and enact the constitution. In all, the Constituent Assembly had 11 sessions. And makers had gone through the constitutions of about 60 different countries. The draft constitution was considered for 114 days. And the total expenditure incurred on making the constitution amounted rupees 64 lakhs. That was a huge deal at the time. Finally, the constitution was ready by the Constituent Assembly and had 22 parts, 395 articles and 8 schedules. But presently, after 103 amendments till now, we have 25 parts, 448 articles and 12 schedules in our Indian Constitution. It was in 1934 that the idea of a Constituent Assembly for India was put forward for the first time by M.N. Roy. He was a pioneer of communist movement in India. In 1935, the Indian National Congress for the first time officially demanded a Constituent Assembly to frame the Constitution of India. In 1938, Nehru, on behalf of INC, declared that the Constitution of Free India must be framed without outside interference by a Constituent Assembly elected on the basis of adult franchise. The demand was finally accepted in principle by the British government in what is known as the August Offer of 1940. In 1942, Sir Stafford Cripps, a member of the cabinet, came to India with a draft proposal of the British government on the framing of an independent constitution to be adopted after the World War II. The Cripps proposal was rejected by the Muslim League, which wanted India to be divided into 2 autonomous states with 2 separate constituent assemblies. Finally, a cabinet mission was sent to India. While it rejected the idea of 2 constituent assemblies, it put forth a scheme for the Constituent Assembly which was more or less satisfied by the Muslim League. The cabinet mission, which arrived in New Delhi on March 24 in 1946, had a prolonged negotiations with Nehru and other leaders of the Congress and the Muslim League. The mission emphasized that their main object was not to lay out the details of the constitutions for India, but to set in motion a machinery whereby a constitution could be settled by Indians for Indians. The Constituent Assembly was constituted in November 1946 under the scheme formulated by the Cabinet Mission Plan. The features of the scheme were as follows. Firstly, the total strength of the Constituent Assembly was to be 389. Of these, 296 seats were to be allotted to British India and 93 seats to the princely states. Out of 296 seats, 292 members were to be drawn from the 11 governors' provinces and 4 from the chief commissioners' provinces, 1 from each. Secondly, each province and princely states were to be allotted seats in proportion to their respective population. Thirdly, seats allocated to each British province were to be divided among the 3 principal communities, Muslims, Sikhs and others, which was the general category, which includes all except Muslims and Sikhs. Fourthly, the representatives of each community were to be elected by the members of that particular community in the Provincial Legislative Assembly, and the voting was to be done by the method of proportional representation by means of single transferable vote. And lastly, the representatives of princely states were to be nominated by the heads of the princely states. They were not the elected ones. Therefore, the Constituent Assembly was to be partly elected and partly nominated body. The elections to the Constituent Assembly were held in July-August 1946. The Indian National Congress won 208 seats, the Muslim League 73 seats, and the small groups got remaining 15 seats. However, 93 seats that were allotted to the princely states were not filled as they decided to stay away from the Constituent Assembly. Although the Constituent Assembly was not directly elected by the people of India on the basis of adult franchise, the Assembly comprised representatives of all sections of Indian society: Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Parsis, Anglo-Indians, Indian Christians, scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and including women of all these sections. The Assembly also included all important personalities of India at that time, only with the exception of Mahatma Gandhi. The Constituent Assembly held its first meeting on 9 December 1946. The Muslim League boycotted the meeting and insisted on a separate state of Pakistan. The meeting was thus attended by only 211 members. Dr. Sachidanand Sinha, the oldest member, was elected as the temporary president of the Assembly following the French practice. Later, Dr. Rajendra Prasad was elected as the president of the Assembly. Both H. C. Mukherjee and V. T. Krishnamachari were elected as the vice president of the Assembly. Therefore, the Assembly had two vice presidents. On December 13, 1946, Nehru moved the historic Objective Resolution in the Assembly. It laid down the fundamentals and philosophy of the constitutional structure as follows. This Constituent Assembly declares its firm and solemn resolve to proclaim India as an independent sovereign republic and to draw up her future governance a constitution, wherein all power and authority of the sovereign independent India, its constituent parts, and the organs of the government are derived from the people. Justice, equality, freedom of thought, expression, belief, faith, worship was guaranteed and secured to all the people by the Constitution. Adequate safeguards shall be provided for minorities, backward and tribal areas, and depressed and other backward classes, and to maintain the integrity and the territory of the Republic and its sovereignty rights on land, sea, and air according to justice and the law of civilized nations. This resolution was unanimously adopted by the Assembly on January 22, 1947. It influenced the eventual shaping of the Constitution through all its subsequent stages. Its modified version forms the preamble of the Indian Constitution presently. Now let's discuss some of the changes that occurred after the India's Independence Act. The representatives of the princely states who had stayed away from the Constituent Assembly gradually joined it. After the Mountbatten Plan, June 3, 1947, for a partition of the country, the representatives of most of the princely states took their seats in the Assembly. The members of the Muslim League from the Indian Dominion also entered the Assembly. Therefore, the Indian Independence Act of 1947 made the following three changes in the position of the Assembly, which were as follows. Firstly, the Assembly was made a fully sovereign body, which could frame any constitution it pleased. The Act empowered the Assembly to abrogate or alter any law made by the British Parliament in relation to India. Secondly, the Assembly also became a legislative body. In other words, two separate functions were assigned to the Assembly, that was, making of a constitution for free India and enacting ordinary laws for the country. Thirdly, the Muslim League members withdrew from the Constituent Assembly for India. Consequently, the total strength of the Assembly came down to 299 as against 389 originally, fixed in 1946 under the Cabinet Mission Plan. Therefore, the strength of the Indian provinces was reduced from 296 to 229 and those of the princely states from 93 to 70. addition to the making of the Constitution and enacting of ordinary laws, the Constituent Assembly also performed the following functions. It ratified India's membership of the Commonwealth in May 1949. It adopted the national flag on July 22, 1947. It adopted the national anthem on January 24, 1950. It adopted the national song on January 24, 1950. It elected Dr. Rajendra Prasad as the first President of India on January 24, 1950. On same date, the Constituent Assembly held its final session. It, however, did not end and continued as the Provisional Parliament of India from January 26, 1950 till the formation of new parliament after the first general elections that were to be held in 1951 to 52. The Constituent Assembly appointed a number of committees to deal with different tasks of constitution making. Out of these, 8 were major committees and others were minor committees. The name of these committees and their chairmen are listed below in the table. Among all the committees of the Constituent Assembly, the most important committee was the Drafting Committee. It was this committee that was entrusted with the task of preparing a draft of the new constitution. It consisted of 7 members as listed below, and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the chairman of the committee. The drafting committee, after taking into consideration the proposals of the various committees, prepared a first draft of the Constitution of India, which was published in February 1948. The people of India were given 8 months to discuss the draft and propose amendments. In the light of the public comments, criticisms, and suggestions, the drafting committee prepared a second draft, which was published on October 1948. The drafting committee took less than 6 months to prepare its draft. In all, it sat only for 141 days. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar introduced the final draft of the Constitution in the Assembly on 4th November 1948 in the first reading. The Assembly had a general discussion on it for 5 days till 9th November. The second reading clause by clause consideration started on 15th November 1948 and it ended on October 17, 1949. It took almost a year because during this stage as many as 7,653 amendments were proposed and around 2,500 were actually discussed in the Assembly. The third reading of the draft started on 14th November 1949. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar moved the motion, "The Constitution as settled by the Assembly be passed." The motion on draft constitution was declared as passed on 26 November 1949 and received the signatures of the members and the President. Out of a total 299 members of the Assembly, only 284 were actually present on that day and signed the Constitution. This is also the date mentioned in the preamble as the date on which the people of India in the Constituent Assembly adopted, enacted, and gave to themselves this Constitution. The Constitution as adopted on November 26, 1949 contained a preamble, 395 articles and 8 schedules. And the preamble was enacted after the entire Constitution was already enacted. January 26 was specifically chosen as the date of commencement of the Constitution because of its historical importance. It was on this day in 1930 that Purn Swaraj Day was celebrated, following the resolution of the Lahore session. The critics have criticized the Constituent Assembly on various grounds. Firstly, they argued that the Constituent Assembly was not a representative body as its members were not directly elected by the people of India on the basis of universal adult franchise. They also maintained that Constituent Assembly was not a sovereign body as it was created by the proposals of the British government and the Assembly held its session with the permission of the British government. According to the critics, the Constituent Assembly took unduly long time to make the Constitution. They stated that the framers of the American Constitution took only 4 months to complete their work. Also, it was charged that the Constituent Assembly was dominated by the Congress Party. Granville Austin, a British constitutional expert remarked that the Constituent Assembly was a one-party body in an essentially one-party country. The Assembly was the Congress and the Congress was India. It is also maintained that the critics' Constituent Assembly was dominated by lawyers and politicians. They pointed out that other sections of the society were not sufficiently represented. This to them is the main reason for the bulkiness and complicated language of the Constitution. And also, according to some critics, the Constituent Assembly was a Hindu-dominated body. Winston Churchill commented that the Constituent Assembly represented only one major community in India. Let's discuss some of the questions related to Constituent Assembly. The Constituent Assembly of India was set up under the framework of which commission? The options are Cripps Mission, Cabinet Mission, Simon Mission, or none of these. The answer is Cabinet Mission, which consisted of 3 members, Lord Pethick Lawrence, Sir Stafford Cripps, and A.V. Alexander, and arrived in India on 24th March 1946. Second question, what was adopted as the symbol seal of the Constituent Assembly? Options are lion, peacock, elephant, and lotus. The right answer is elephant. Who was appointed as the legal advisor to Constituent Assembly? The options are Sir B.N. Rao, S.N. Mukherjee, G.V. Malwankar, and S. Vardachari. Though all these 4 are the post holders in the committees that were appointed by the Constituent Assembly, but it was Sir B.N. Rao who was the Constituent Assembly's legal advisor.